Do you want to start building terrain but get put off by the cost? Spend any time watching terrain builders on YouTube and you'd be forgiven for thinking you need a workshop full of expensive tools to make anything awesome. Airbrushes, 3D printers, laser cutters, tabletop hot wire cutters. I'm guilty of it myself. But the truth is, some of the best techniques I use rely on tools that cost just a few dollars or nothing at all. And better yet, you probably already have them. And the first one cost me less than $3 a year. Aluminium foil is ridiculously versatile. I mostly scrunch it up into a ball and use it to stamp a rock-like texture into foam. In fact, this is probably one of the most used tools in my hobby workshop. I like to have a variety of shapes to tackle any hobby project. But the wonders of foil don't end there. It's also a fantastic, ultra-budget alternative to silicone rock molds. Fold a sheet in half, scrunch it up, open it back out and shape it into a rough bowl. Pour in some runny plaster, let it cure, then break the casting into chunks. Blend the pieces together with modeling compound and you'll have convincing rock formations for very little cost. Foil is also brilliant for making lightweight armatures for sculpting. You can squash it into almost any shape before covering it with clay, saving both weight and sculpting material. For something that spends most of its life wrapping kebabs, this earns a permanent spot in any hobby toolbox. But if $3 a year still sounds expensive, how about free? Rocks, broken brick, and bits of gravel, these all make great hobby tools that are absolutely free. Just like aluminium foil, they can be pressed into foam to create convincing stone textures. And if you throw some gravel into a bag with foam blocks and give it a good shake, the edges get chipped and rounded, creating a much more realistic looking masonry. But of course, before we texture foam, we need to cut it. A cheap kitchen knife is a great hobby tool for cutting foam. I got this one for $6 and it's lasted me years. The long blade and heft makes slicing through thick insulation foam far easier than trying to do it with a hobby knife. That's pretty good. Keeping the blade keen is essential because a sharp knife slices cleanly through foam while a dull one tends to tear and leave ragged edges. But if roughness is what you're after, then this is also great for carving rough, rocky textures and shapes. But eventually you'll reach a point where brute force isn't enough, you need precision. Once you've got your rough shapes cut out, it's time for the careful blade work. An X-Acto knife or similar hobby knife is perfect for carving in those fine details that really brings terrain to life, and they can be as cheap as $3. I use mine to carve individual stones, cut cracks and chips into masonry, and even add textures like wood grain to foam. It's amazing how much character you can add with just a few careful cuts. But here's my biggest tip. Change your blades regularly. A sharp blade glides through the material and leaves crisp, clean cuts. A dull blade catches, tears, and leaves ragged edges that can spoil the effect. Replacement blades can be incredibly cheap if you buy them bulk online, so don't be afraid to swap them out regularly. And while we're on the topic of blades, retractable blades deserve a mention. They're cheap and situated dead center between kitchen knife and X-Acto blades in terms of utility. The blades are thin enough to bend slightly, which can be useful when shaping polystyrene into large undulating landforms. The long blade is useful for making straight cuts, and replacements are cheap, so you never have to work with a dull blade. These are my go-to when working with balsa wood and popsicle sticks. When weathering the edges of popsicle sticks, it's important to run the blade against the wood grain. If you don't, the blade will grab and cut into the stick rather than shaving away a chip. If that happens, simply flip the stick over and you'll find the blade will glide smoothly through the wood. What's next? Okay, technically this is a whole set of tools, but they all deserve a mention. Because once you start building structures, buildings and walls, straight cuts are essential. Nobody wants wonky walls. And so for this, I rely on a few simple geometry tools. A set square, metal ruler, and a compass. They help keep walls square, corners neat, and buildings looking like they were built by master Numenorian craftsmen rather than drunk goblins. A metal ruler is essential for making straight cuts. And unlike plastic rulers, they won't get chewed up every time your hobby knife slips. And as a bonus, by adding a magnetic spirit level, you can make sure that your walls are nice and level. To cut accurate circular doors, door frames and windows, a compass is your best friend and is a tiny fraction of the cost of a tabletop hot wire cutter. These tools aren't particularly exciting, but using them effectively is one of the simplest ways of making your terrain look more professional. But of course, to use all these tools, we'll need perhaps the most underrated tool, the humble pencil. A few seconds marking out your cuts can save you from making annoying and costly mistakes. But the technique I use a pencil for most when building terrain is using it to accentuate score lines. This is a fast and effective way of carving bricks into foam. Just scoring the lines in with a blade doesn't make those joins prominent enough, but as soon as you run a sharp pencil along them, they look great and will show up perfectly when painted. And the same method is great for creating wooden textures. And any sharp pencil will do. If I could only have one powered tool in my workshop, it'd probably be a hot glue gun. It might not be glamorous, but it saves a heck of a lot of time and can cost as little as $5. Unlike PVA glue, which can take hours to fully cure, hot glue grabs almost instantly, which means less waiting around and more building. It's fantastic for foam, cardboard, MDF, popsicle sticks, and all sorts of other common terrain materials. The downside is the inevitable spider webs of glue that seem to appear absolutely everywhere. But these can be dealt with easily by running a flame over them. If you're new to terrain building, a hot glue gun will probably save you more time than any other tool on this list. Terrain building and painting miniatures are two very different hobbies. When painting miniatures, nice brushes can make a huge difference. But for terrain, there's really no need to break the bank. Most terrain painting involves techniques like dry brushing, stippling, washing, and applying glue. All of those techniques can be rough on paintbrushes. This poor thing has probably spread enough PVA glue to wallpaper an entire house. Save your expensive brushes for miniature painting. Grab yourself a handful of cheap synthetic brushes for your terrain work. I recommend flat, stiff-bristled brushes of varying size for dry brushing, or raid your lady's makeup brush if you're feeling fancy. And it's good to have various sized, round and pointed brushes for details. Now this is definitely the most specialized and expensive tool on this list. But unlike tabletop hot wire systems that can cost hundreds of dollars, a simple handheld hot wire cutter like this can be picked up for as little as $15. And they're oh so satisfying to use. They're great for carving cliffs, cutting trenches, shaping hills, and creating organic forms with foam. They're especially useful for cutting sexy clean curves which traditional blades struggle with. And if you're really motivated, you can have a go at mounting it on a block as a poor hammer version of a tabletop hot wire cutter. Is it essential? No. Can you build incredible terrain without one? Yes. But if you're looking to add one relatively low-cost specialist tool to your hobby toolbox, this would be my recommendation. Just be sure to use it in a well-ventilated area. Looking back over our list, what strikes me is how common and ordinary these tools are. Foil, rocks, a kitchen knife, pencil, none of these things are particularly exciting, none of them are particularly expensive. The real secret isn't owning fancy tools, it's seeing the potential in ordinary objects. And don't get me wrong, I love my laser cutter, I love my airbrush, but none of those things taught me how to build terrain. They just made some techniques faster and opened up more possibilities. Great terrain doesn't come from expensive tools, it comes from creativity, practice, and a willingness to start. So grab a few basic supplies, stop waiting for the perfect workshop, and start creating something epic. Check out this video to see me use many of these simple tools in action, even up against a 3D printer in a head-to-head terrain building battle. And I'll see you next time here at 3D Games. Until then, good hobbying everyone.